EdtechMondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village.
Greetings. According to the recent reports from UNESCO, it is estimated that about 244 million children and youth worldwide remain out of school, with sub-Saharan Africa accounting for significant portions. Solutions to the same could be a challenge, but all the same, we have to find a solution. Welcome to EdTech Mondays. We find solutions on how we can be able to embrace technology and put it all together with education and provide quality education. This in proud association, of course, with the MasterCard Foundation, and also in great recognition as we go through this particular initiative. We have to make sure that our partners, including Innovation Village, come through to ensure that we can be able to put the show together. Challenges and solutions are some of the things that we'll be discussing this morning, as I'm yet to come through and introduce our panelists this morning. And also in recognition, we have to understand that our challenges in education are not only to family, they're not only to the powers that be, or most of people in authority, but they go as deep as coming back home. My name is Sean Chimali. Please kindly come and join me as we join our panel of discussants to delve into this very important subject and topic. Thank you everyone for joining me. I'll start, of course, with you, Zahra and Amanda. Thank you very much for coming to the show. It's EdTech Mondays. How are you? And kindly briefly tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. My name is Zahara Namanda, and I am an educator. I'm a Mandela Fellow, and also I'm a graduate in education, public policy, and equity at the University of Glasgow in Scotland. So I am a researcher as well, researching together with the University of California, San Diego, and California, Berkeley. My role in Uganda, I lead Africa Education and Leadership Initiative, and Africa ELI supports education through bridging gender gaps. And basically, we work with the underserved communities, including refugee children, but giving a special focus to children who do not have the ability to be in school. So we provide literacy, we provide scholarship programs, and also look specifically into their well-being. That's
a lot of work. You must be very busy. If I refer to you as Zahra on the show, please don't be offended. And also a part of the panel is Gerard Himbisiwe. It's good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're looking very sharp and smart.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Gerard Himbisiwe, and I'm the Executive Director of the Ability Youth Initiative, a community-based not-for-profit organization. We are based in southwestern Uganda in Isinjiro, and basically we chat transitioning for out-of-school children. We are very, very aware that our education, almost at every level for the three cycles we have, primary, secondary, but also on post-secondary, at least at every level we have a category of young people dropping out. So our role basically is to see what happens to them next. So we provide mentored opportunities for them to learn and upskill. Thank you.
Interesting. Also with us is Akinyi Merab Victoria. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Briefly about your works.
Okay, my name is Victoria Merab Akinyi. I am an artist by profession. I've done I do interior designing and also do fashion. And I'm also a Mandela Washington Fellow 2023. And with the work that I do in the community, I run an organization as a team leader for Streetlights Uganda, a non-profit organization that uses art to get street-connected children out of the streets, basically by empowering them with the art skills, but also looking at those that are interested in going back to school, having them get scholarships and go back to school.
That is interesting. And once again, as we proceed, we'll give recognition to the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in ICT, supporting the growth of an impactful Africa EdTech ecosystem in particular. With all the works that you do, if I come back to you as Zahra, everything that you do with all the children and the teaching that you do with all the initiatives that you're putting in place, have you been able to understand that there are factors that are contributing to the high numbers of out-school learners in Uganda and across East Africa? Have you flashed, a light into the same, that the number of out-of-school children is growing every day And are there any steps that you're taking to ensure that they embrace technology, that they can be able to get quality education?
Yes, for sure. The number of school dropouts is actually alarming. Looking into Uganda, we find that COVID-19 exacerbated this very much. And our role as Africa Education, we realized we actually transitioned during COVID-19, because before EdTech was, or technology, I should say, wasn't a major focus for us. And when we realized that COVID-19 children dropped out of school or schools were closed, then we had a sight that catching them while home is very necessary for education to be sustainable. So we introduced sessions, online sessions for children, especially our children who live in the refugee camps. As
Does that apply to all refugee camps?
no, we have specific refugee camps, like
And
right
they
now.
have access to this kind of technology and innovation in those refugee camps?
In the refugee camps, we have collaborations with initiatives that are grounded within the refugee. So we have the Wiki initiative that supports children to access technology within the refugees, for example, in the Rhino camp. And basically, that supports them to continuously learn and also access information. And the center really supports the children to print out information, because we have to think about the zones. For example, in refugee communities, children have to walk long distances, and not everyone has the capacity to reach out to the center. And basically looking into that and how it tailors into education and supporting children, it gives them the passion to continuously get the zeal to learn, but also access information and be aware that education does not only mean physical presence, but it could be an interaction between a computer, between a phone, for a child to continuously learn and have sustainable knowledge.
That is very interesting. Now that you brought in the aspect and the area of refugees, Ahim, this will be coming to you briefly, but I would like still to go directly into street lights and what you do, Merab, with the street children, as we call them. Probably you've given them a different title that anyone needs to understand. Education and technology, and how you reach out to these young people. And if anyone mentions that it's street children, they're out of school children or out of school learners.
Yeah.
How have you put the two together?
Okay. So for the start, I'll speak about embracing technology with the children. These children are already conversant with technology, because there's what we call street smart. You get it? So being on the streets, a child that is on the streets is different from a child that is probably in marginalized communities like up country or in refugee camps, I would say. These are children that have been exposed to these gadgets. They've seen people moving around with them. They've seen them being sold in different places. They admire them. They desire to use them.
So with your interaction with them, they're tech savvy.
Yes, they are. And basically all they need is someone to help them find a different direction to this. Basically we have different programs with the community, and one of our biggest goals is to set up, because we have a center already, but also set up and have access to this the digital world to them, because it's something we want to do, but it's also been a challenge of affording it. So the limitation is in the access to these things, but the desire to use them is there, and the capability is also there.
Interesting. Thank you. And Jared, with your initiative and how you're working with giving the ability to youth to learn a lot more every day, are there any stumbling blocks with this? And can you just take this approach to what you're going to mention with the fact that we have embraced education technology, at the same time being able to reach out to out-of-school children, and then bring forth what some of the stumbling blocks in your process of works?
Thank you so much. My colleague alluded that in the urban areas, young people or children can actually, use technology. And it's really a totally different case when we go down country in southwestern Uganda, basically in Isinjiro, where I come from. And to bring you to the light, you would find only, I think, along the main road, the Mbarach-Kagata road possibly, maybe a few areas where people can access electricity like this. But also, I would take you to learn that in most households, they're actually living very below the poverty line, to the extent that they cannot actually afford a mere button, the Kapesa phone.
You are actually just putting it blatantly that they're not digital ready or technology ready.
Thank you. But there are also opportunities for them to come to the light. And so for us, our approach, we use a mentored model. We identify people in the community who have those resources and who have the heart to educate, to teach, okay? And they become mentors, looking deep in the communities for those young people and bringing together to offer them opportunities, to train them both with soft and hard skills.
Are you being successful with an area like that? Because the way you define the area that you're concentrating on, it seems like they're at zero level of embracing technology and the digital direction.
Well, one of the exciting things is that young people have got out of the formal education, but they are willing to learn. But they also have ambitious goals and visions. When you listen to them carefully, you learn that they are so aspiring, but they're also inspiring. And so it is not so difficult if they know the opportunity. And I guess also tech is so exciting to them. For instance, when you bring to them to a person who maybe has a computer, or you can want to teach them how they can just design a mere graphic. Or maybe this girl has a need to learn the saloon, and you connect her to a mentor who is using a different tech from what is in the raw setting, you know? It really excites them so much.
So tell me, this problem where EdTech is coming to them and there's a little bit of resistance, is it only happening to the out of school children, or it's a general problem? Actually, Merab and Zahara, you can be able to take up on the same question, but what do you have to say about the same, Ahimsiwe? Is it a problem that we find at school alone, or it affects the out of school children greatly?
Yeah, so maybe I know that we are right now focusing on the out of school, but I want to say that this is actually a national problem. Part of our mentorship, we also focus on children who are at risk. And just a week back, we had a few who came into our class, you know, senior 2. And if I talk about senior 2, you know what I'm talking about, because we're in a new curriculum where they're saying they have, you know, integrated tech. And a kid cannot power on a computer. But this is from a personal experience. But let's go to research, okay? According to the broadband policy, the national broadband policy, we can learn that only 5% of the primary schools can actually have access to internet.
In your line of work, Zahara, is that the same issue? Would you agree with that? 5% is a very, very small number. But with the out of school children, are they moving faster, or they're as slow as Gerard has painted the picture?
I think they're as slow as Gerard has actually painted the picture, because as we look into transitioning to technology, we also have to look at families, where these children come from. I mean, there is a lot of poverty that he mentioned. Parents can't even have the Kapesa, you know, the Kapesa phone. And once we go to schools, the schools where we work in, you find there is barely a computer. And looking into teacher skills, a teacher can't even, you know, write an email and doesn't know how to operate an email. So I think it's a national problem. And as we look into the new curriculum, because we look at children being ready in virtual learning or access to technology, but how ready are the teachers and how ready are the parents? Because given the connection, you have to look at the parent who will support the out-of-school child, and then we look at the teachers who will still support the in-school or at school children. So I believe this is a very critical problem that needs to be interconnected if we have to address it per se.
Thanks once again for watching. In case you're catching the show in bits, it's EdTech Mondays in proud association as brought to you by, to be particular, the MasterCard Foundation.
EdTech Mondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village.
Well, once again, thanks very much for watching, and this is EdTech Mondays. I am Sean Chimley. As we proceed, my guests including Zahara, Gerard, and of course, Madame Victoria, our discussion rotates about out-of-school learners and how they can be able to access EdTech, in particular, access education through all the innovations that are in place. Well, with EdTech Mondays, remember to subscribe, remember to follow, like, and share, and make your comments across all our communities, our social communities of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Mention it, go right there, and you leave your comments. Put in everything that you think about the subject that we are discussing. The QR scan code is right there on the screen. Just get your phone, get into the scan, pick it up, you'll get all details on how you can be able to work with us. Also, once again, to say thanks to the MasterCard Foundation, Innovation Village, and the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. And as we carry on, our subject and topic of discussion rotates about out-of-school children and how they can be able to take on technology, education technology in particular, to get quality education. Let's jump into collaborations, international collaborations, and I'll take this particular question to the panelists, and that is, I'll take this to you, Akinyi Amerab, because I do believe there's a lot of support that young ones need, especially with your area of work on street children.
Yeah.
International collaborations, how are they, is there anything like that? Is the funding and initiatives of, of deploying education technologies in your area, is that funding and that support coming through? Are you finding solutions? Are you finding solutions for these would-be marginalized learners? And how have you embraced the same, please?
Okay, so thank you so much. About funding and collaborations, basically you've said internationally. One of the things we've been focusing on is, as an organization, is to first build on the national collaborations, then you're able to go further with the international collaborations. Yes, there have been opportunities, but then the opportunities that present themselves have been, for instance, the children recently participated on Shin Awards, and with the Shin Awards they were told to paint or draw something that helps to show their view of the future with AI, you know, and to us, these are things we've made sure that the children participate in, because it gets you to help them to see their mindset about technology and also see how they think. And we were so amazed and amused by what they were able to produce. Our exhibition for them just ended in July. So with such things, we get to understand and start from a level of, do you know what we're talking about? So I think that's how we've been able to embrace that collaboration on participating on different call-outs and opportunities that engage them into understanding technology first. Then we're also still seeking to find ways of getting collaborations that can help us have access to these things, to the machines and the equipment that we need for the children to be able to learn deeper and understand deeper.
Okay, in a nutshell, as we try to get almost at the edge of this discussion, I'll start with you, Zahara. What do you think needs to be done for EdTech and quality education to be driven to those that are out of school? What do we need to do as a government, as NGOs, as the private sector, as parents, as families, and also as other individuals who are taking care of the same space? What in your mind do you think we should do to reach out to the out of school learners?
Yeah, I think there should be a comprehensive reform, for example, from the government. And looking at out-of-school children, we see that even children who are in school, he said it better that, the majority are the ones that drop. So, and looking into the majority of the marginalized children, those are the majority still who drop out of school. But at the moment, I think this is a very critical green ground for us to look into what ideas and what technologies, how could we collaborate. I mean, collaboration is very important. And Merab spoke about local and national collaborations in this sense, because we feel the problem. We know it's our own problem, and we know how it affects us in our families, in our schools, employment centers or areas. I believe embracing it and working together as a community, as government, as NGOs would be a best way to integrate such kind of initiative.
On a quick wrap, Gerard, yours is a lot more with the youth, with the 244 million statistics from UNESCO. The youth are part of the out-of-school learners. Briefly, what are some of these steps that you think should be put in place by NGOs, by government, by the private sector, individuals, families, and the like?
Yeah, in my own opinion, because I've spent a lot of time into mentoring and working with young people, hearing about their dreams and aspirations, I have something that always gets me up. One is that we still have challenges in exposure. Two is that we are spending a lot of time emphasizing things that young people are not interested in. And eventually, we make learning very, very, very difficult. And so I think that it's very important for us now as a country, every stakeholder in education, to come to contextualize, to understand our educational problems. But you'll find maybe in the national education, in the financing for education, people like Merab and Zahara are not thought about. In fact, I'm very sure, 100% sure, they are driven by passion than any other thing.
And you're driven by what?
When I mention they are, I mean so many Ugandans out there.
I understand, Gerard.
Who are touching the sky to bring it down.
I understand,
Yeah.
but I know the one step you're not going to is, and I wish everyone was talking about this, but you talked about it and it tickled my mind when you were making your submission earlier, and you said that electricity is only by the roadside, and when you go on the inside, there's no electricity. So that simply means even when you provide access, which you also proposed, access to gadgetry, infrastructure won't be powered. You'll take them, tabs and everything, and phones that are not capacious, and the next day they tell you, when you left, we waited for you to come back and bring electricity. I don't know, Mary wants to jump on that. We are wrapping, but if you're using like 2 words, that's okay.
We should not just focus on computers and all that. We should also focus on, because children have a very beautiful mind that is so creative and can do anything. How about we focus on them being part of the solution, getting them to know that, you know what, with technology, you can be part of the solution in your community. If it's an issue of electricity, how do you think we can be able to work with other means to bring technology to you?
So
even
you
without
think those solutions
electricity?
still can be found by the out-of-school learners?
Yes, they can. These children dream. I love brains of children. Spending time with children makes you dream. And
You know, it will be very hard. Well, all of you nodded like in affirmative. It will be very hard to walk to an out-of-school child and you tell them that, you know what, you're the one who's going to bring the solution to this village that has no electricity. That kind of empowerment, where's the shortcut to it? It will be very hard to tell a child that, you see this village, there's no water, there's no electricity, but the person who has the solution is you who never went to school.
I think it's possible, maybe just to jump on this. You've heard about the boy who harnessed the wind?
Yeah, that is from Namibia.
Yeah. So looking into that, we find that Merab spoke about the child's mind. You know, they could be just in a classroom and knowing that in our village, we do not have electricity. what is the solution. It's more like ideation. And these children come up with different ideas. Even if they haven't been to school, they're a part of the communities, and they know what the problem is, and they can actually come up with solutions that are interesting.
I think there's a gap on empowering. Why do I say gap on empowering? Because we are wrapping. I wish we had this conversation further. The gap on empowering, for you to be able to walk into a space and you tell a child that you have a solution, while they do have a solution, and at the same village there is an in at school, or a child who's going through school with particular qualifications, and you tell them that, you see, you are the same as that one. You are innovative as the one who's gone to school. It could be a missing gap, because most of them, it will take them a while to walk into that space, but their ability to be able to get into a space of technology, education, and being able to execute great plans and initiatives is right there. Picking it out could be a challenge for all actually the initiatives that the three of you have. Now, Jared, you want to say something. Why?
Yeah, I absolutely think that that's why a mentored approach actually comes through.
Yes, that's
And
correct.
that's what we're offering. Now, for us, we just think that if anyone has a vision, they just need support to bring it to pass.
That is very correct.
And for us, we think by getting this ambitious young person whose mind is getting crazy ideas, and they are matched maybe to Gerald, who got an opportunity to go to university and has some lights, and next stage of those ideas can actually help to harness the solution the young boy has.
I thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, here we are. I wish we had a lot more time to discuss this, because it gets better and a lot of insights. We thank our guests. That is Zahara Namanda. Thanks for the work. And also our guest, Mr. Gerard Himbisiwe, together with Amira Victoria. Their contribution to our conversations tonight are only but very, very brilliant. We'd like to say thank you to the MasterCard Foundation. Also thanks to the Innovation Village, and also the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. We will be back very soon, and our major task is to find solutions on making sure that we bridge the gap where education technology can also be passed on to the out-of-school learners, and they can be incorporated in the entire education system, especially with the direction that we are taking in the future, a digital direction. It's quite a challenging one. We'll see you very soon. My name is Sean Chimoli.
EdtechMondays Uganda is supported by the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in partnership with the Innovation Village.